There you go. Yeah. Here we go. Welcome back to the channel, guys. So we're here in Detroit, Michigan for the grand reopening of Michigan Central Station. There's a lot of historical impact that the building has. It hasn't been open to the public for over 30 years. Ford bought the building back in 2018, but now they completely renovated the inside. There's going to be a lot of new things inside it. We're going to check it out, and I get to show you guys firsthand what Ford is doing and how they're impacting the community, but also the city of Detroit as well. So we get to do some ride-alongs too. I'm excited to see what the vehicle is, so here we go. Yeah, that is weird. Wow.
Different in there.
Yeah. It looks like it was made by AI or something. I forgot how historic the downtown area of Michigan is. There's always so much history around this area, and it's really cool to kind of see the skyline and how everything looks out here. But it's interesting because you get a mix of like modern buildings and like older buildings at the same time. But it's cool to see manufacturers like Ford implement and pump new life into a city like this.
Here from far and wide to celebrate the revitalization of Michigan Central. Thank you so much for coming out for us. And to tell you a little bit more about Michigan Central, we have here our Chief Operating Officer, Carolina Koziski. Thank you.
Hi guys. Flag me. It's great to meet all of you. I'm so grateful that you guys are here. How many are from the local area? Yeah. A little bit, yeah. So Michigan Central, you guys got a chance to drive by it? You probably can't see it anyways because of all of the scrim and the fencing. So we bought that train station about 6 years ago. Ford Motor Company did. And Bill Ford had this vision about how do you, that building was on the decay of every book that you saw. If you picked up a book from Detroit, you would see that building on it, falling apart, saying terrible things about us, etc., etc. And so he really thought about it and said, if we ever going to bring Detroit back, that building has to come back. Everybody has a story. Somebody went to war out of that building. People came, their families came into town. Like everybody has a story about that building. The community loves the building. And so when he thought about that building as being the community place, he talked about if we think about the future of mobility and we think about the future of innovation, it's more collaborative than ever. The problems that we're up against are way too hard for one company to solve. And so how do you create a place that's an open platform where you can work with your competitors side by side to figure out how do you advance these solutions? How do we do that faster so that we can win? And so that started a journey, and it went from buying the train station as a real estate project to moving the project underneath his office. And his chief of staff, Mary Culler at the time, the project went under her, who I worked for initially, and we started a journey, and it was more about protecting the vision than it was about developing the real estate. And so because of that, when you walk through there, you're not going to see everything pristine. That building it closed in 1988. It had years of decay. And so we fought the National Preservation Office and around our tax credits to say the decay is part of the story. So you'll see pitted columns. You will see graffiti in one area that we were allowed to keep. You'll see some of those decay options. We broke down a wall and there's this staircase that's there. We don't know where it goes, but it's an original staircase. All kinds of those stories everywhere. And so we've been on a journey for the last 6 years. At that time, COVID hit. During COVID, as many of you guys know, a lot of people worked from home. That building did not skip a beat. We were shut down for about 6 weeks until we could get protocols in place. And then we had 500 construction workers in that building every single day who were able to work and do that restoration. I mean, there's like 29,000 tiles in this vaulted ceiling that all had to be touched and cleaned and grouted, and that took a whole year. It took us a year to pump the water out of that building. And as you drove by, you saw it starting to change colors because the building was drying out. There was no heat and no air conditioning in there, so glasses were foggy, masks were on. I mean, it was a tough situation, but they showed up every single day because of the love of that building. And so we look at not just that building, but we've purchased about a 30-acre campus, and we're turning it into an innovation hub. We started the building next to it, which you'll see, it's an old Albert Kahn building. It's our hub of innovation, and we partnered with a company called New Lab to really build the innovation ecosystem, the startup communities. And since we opened last year in April, we have 100 startups that are either from Detroit or they're from around the world. About 40% are either nationally or internationally. They're moving here. And those companies are growing. We have companies now that are too big for that building because we won't let them grow too big. Once you start scaling, you got to move out because you're changing the culture then. You're not that startup mentality anymore. And so that's what we hope for the building next door. The industry partners and the larger companies as they grow, we want a place for them. We want a place for them to go so they can scale their company. We want to put corporates in there so that they can be their first customers because that's what startups need. And we want to create this ecosystem.
Who's excited for the concert tomorrow to celebrate?
All right, so the concert, I mean, why not? We're opening it to the world, and we're putting this building back on the map for the world. And so tomorrow's concert is really that celebration. And there's not going to be much in there. We'll have exhibits, but it's about the architecture, it's about the building, and it's about Detroit.
Started a new program across the world. I am in charge of chapters for the world, and I just started a new chapter in the Netherlands. I started another new chapter just about 3 weeks ago. That's called FORD-Y, 40 and under. You have to be 40 years old or under to be in this. I do a lot of youth activities. This is all about kids.
So what are you excited to see?
Oh gosh, everything. Like, well, first of all, like this is exciting to see right off the bat. Like,
Just walk out to the hotel.
But I think the most excited I am for today is to drive the F-100 Eluminator.
Yeah.
Like, that is just going to be so epic.
What are you most excited to see?
I am honestly pretty excited to see the Corktown tour. As long as I've lived here, I've actually never really experienced this, so this is going to be great to learn the history. But not only, we are actually taking these out in Model Ts, 1912 all the way up to 1920 is what I'm being told. So it's just amazing to have that history
1912?
here. Yeah.
Holy crap. That's so cool.
Welcome! So glad you're here. Who's been to Detroit but doesn't live here and is back? Very good. We're going to try to keep you this time. Ladies and gentlemen, gentlefolk, my name is Bailey Sissoy Moore, and I'm going to be your tour guide today. I'm with Detroit History Tours, and we've been working with Michigan Central Station for about a year, so today is a very big day in our world. I'm joined by one of the best guys we could possibly have on this tour. This is Mr. Ted Ryan. Ted runs the Ford archives, and we'll be here doing Ford history and sort of filling in those Ford gaps.
Up on Cork. Cork is interesting for another reason, because when Ford began manufacturing in Ireland, we established one of our manufacturing plants in Cork. Once again, going back to Henry Ford's desire to close the loop and to have the familial connection. One of the other interesting things we'll talk more about at lunch is that Ford actually used to own almost all the property across the street from Michigan Central. We've got some maps we'll show you and some other interesting things there. 1913, Ford is manufacturing in Highland Park, and that is when the assembly line is perfected. And that is when the Model T production really ramps up. I do want to take a step back. I want to thank our drivers, and I particularly want to thank Paquette Plant. You see the URL, paquetteplant.org. Definitely check it out. We'd love your support. There's actually an Adopt a Model T program. This is a labor of love to keep these cars going and to keep the plant going. So everybody who enjoys driving in a Model T today, consider adding a little bit of coinage to adopt one of our Model Ts and to keep them running. So with that, Model Ts, 1913 Highland Park assembly line, and we began producing gazillions of Model Ts. At one point, the Model T was 57% of the worldwide market for automobiles. The price also began at about $850, and at its lowest dropped to about $250 per car. Essentially, it was a car anybody in the country could afford. Even the workers who a year later, in 1914, are given the $5 a day wage, they can now afford to buy the cars that they're building for the public. So with that, that's enough boring Ford history. Let's get in our cars and go have some fun.
Gentlemen, I don't care what teams you cheer for. As long as you are here, it is the Tigers, it is the Lions, it is the Red Wings for your own safety. Now, my friends, if you look up at the corner, do you see that red and gray striped building? Those are some of the hottest condos in all of Detroit right now. A 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom will run you about $430,000, and you get to look out on a historic ball field. Because where that field now sits used to be Nathan Field, Briggs Stadium, and Tiger Stadium, home to baseball on the corner. This is all we have left of the old stadium. The Police Athletic League, which we acronym to the PAL League, today facilitates the field. They have high school tournaments there. They have community games, and they have the world famous Detroit firefighters versus Detroit police officers guns and hoses game there every year. But ladies and gentlemen, that did not just hold sports. It held concerts. Stevie Wonder, MC5, all of our big names at some point played Tiger Stadium. But in particular, the one that gives me a chuckle is when Bruce Springsteen came for his Born in the USA tour. So the boss shows up to 3 sold-out nights at Tiger Stadium, and Detroiters, being entrepreneurial and creative, say, if the show's sold out, what about the parking lots? They buy out the parking lots, they put bleachers in the parking lots, and for a mere $3 in 1989, you could have sat here, not heard the music, not saw Springsteen, but say you were at the concert. This is a huge part of what makes Detroit special and what's going to make the train station opening special. We have this deep need to say, I was there. And for so long in our city's history, we said, I was there when the wrecking ball took down Tiger Stadium. I was there for the last pitch. I saw on January 5th, 1988, the last train leave Michigan Central Station. And today, we all get to say, there's a lot more than a sign that we get to celebrate tonight.
I love seeing the people turning their heads and just being like, oh my gosh. Just getting out their phones.
Oh, they like the horns.
And those are the actual owners, right? Of the
one is a borrowed one, but for the most part, yeah.
One owns one. I think he owns 3 of them.
Wow.
So
you can see the pride on their face, though, like as you're looking at their
Every
cars.
time you get in there,
I've seen 1 or 2 of them when we came for the F-150 launch, and they had these all set up, and he sat for like 20 minutes just describing everything about it, and it was great. But to see them like beam with pride.
So this is how you test for the gas, and he's got this little stick. It's got lines on it. You put it in the gas tank.
That's epic.
So talking about the spokes on the wheels, the wooden ones.
Yeah.
There's a guy in Pennsylvania who's Amish that you have to call one number. He's not allowed to answer the phone, but they call ahead and then bring whatever damaged spoke down, get it replicated, and it is made perfectly.
Like to match.
Yes.
What?
By this Amish man. And he's
By this
he's the
Amish
expert.
man making the spokes. That's so cool. I mean, it's not like you can run to Home Depot and pick one up.
And the replica ones out there aren't as good, but this guy hand makes them.
Wheels with the incredibly big wheelbase, the 36-inch wheelbase.
Yeah.
And navigates brick roads and so that you barely even feel it. We're getting more bumping motion than the T's are because the wheels are so big, it smooths out the road. Steve Sotwell.
They're designed for these roads.
They're designed for these roads.
No way.
Steve said that if you take a T on the highway, you know, the vibrating strip that tells you when you've gone too far, he said if you drive over that in a T, you don't even feel it because they're designed to take that level of vibration. Because the roads prior to brick were made out of wood. They would fell wood and then put the stumps there and you drive over the wood stumps. So,
which is why like the innovation for the T's were ahead of their time.
It was ahead of the time.
And we're talking suspension, working in 1920, 1930, which is crazy to think about.
1915. This car was not equipped with an electric starter at Dan Franklin.
I
are the rides going?
Amazing. Dude, this is so cool. Like straight
It's
goosebumps.
like, wait, what?
It's just
Around, yeah. How are the rides?
so cool.
It's so fun. This is so cool.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Pretty epic, right?
Right, ladies and gentlemen, come on in, come on in. You got a couple of things to see here. First and foremost, that is the Ambassador Bridge. Opened November 11th, 1929. When it opened, it was the tallest suspension bridge on planet Earth. Any guesses where it ranks today on tallest bridges in the world? 118th. But when it opened, it was both the tallest and the longest. Below it, the Michigan Central Railroad Tunnel. Has anyone asked the question, why did we build our station where we built our station? Well, remember that I told you we started building before moving from the old station to this station, and there was the fire and it meant we had to move sooner? But the reason the station's located here is because all the way back in 1906, the Michigan Central Railroad started constructing the first underwater multi-nation train tunnel ever built. It runs from Michigan Central down under the Detroit River and up into Windsor, Ontario, Canada. That tunnel precedes the Windsor-Detroit Tunnel, which still operates for vehicular traffic today. All of these tunnels open at a time when America is in Prohibition. The tunnel gets a nickname, the Detroit-Windsor Funnel, because how much liquor is pouring through it, from where manufacturing alcohol is legal to where manufacturing alcohol is illegal for intoxicating purposes. Today, the Ambassador Bridge has a new sister on the river. The Gordie Howe International Crossing is being built, and you'll catch a look at both of those today. But the real reason I wanted to bring you to this stop is what's behind you and then the view from over there. So first, let's cover what's behind you. This is the Bagley Mobility Hub. Built by Ford, this is going to be parking for Michigan Central Station. But it's oh so much more than parking. It's electrical vehicle charging. It is a drop station for ride share with safe and convenient 24-hour monitoring so that while you're waiting for your Uber or your Lyft, you're in a place of safety and security. It is very importantly for Detroit tour guides, a clean and available public restroom. But the Bagley Mobility Hub speaks to the work Ford is doing in the neighborhood, because this, built between 2018 and 2021, was the first major structure in this part of the neighborhood in over 20 years. Gentlemen, Mr. Ted, anything?
Yeah, no, the only other thing is that from the very beginning when we purchased Michigan Central, things like the Bagley Innovation Center, the park, was a way to connect the community. And the other big building that you see in front of you is called the Book Depository. That was also one of the purchases along with Michigan Central, and that was actually the first one restored, and it now serves as a home of innovation. There's over 70 companies that specialize in innovative technology. They're not Ford, they're just companies that were looking for a space, looking for a home, affordable home, and Ford opened up the Book Depository for them. And the first time I visited the station was just a week or so after the purchase announcement, and you couldn't get from here to there. So opening this pathway, opening the Book Depository, is going to bring this together as an entire community in the future. And that was the vision from the very beginning.
The three biggest industries in Detroit were in 1900. Any guesses?
Cool.
Not coal, not bicycles. Tires. Not stoves. Cast iron stoves. 1 out of every 2 cast iron stoves on planet Earth was manufactured here in Detroit with the Garland and Jewel stove brands. Pharmaceuticals. The great Park Davis, which all of us who have the polio vaccine scar, we have Park Davis in part to thank for that. The good doctor, Dr. Sulk, comes up with the vaccination, but Park Davis is one of 3 companies entrusted with producing it. And last one, any guesses? Tobacco. Now I know you're like, tobacco, Michigan, you're not growing tobacco, tour girl. Lying to us, I am not. In fact, we didn't grow tobacco, we produced it. Why? Because we had rail networks and we had shipping networks. We could bring in raw tobacco from the South, manufacture it into cigars, and then sell it out around the world. In the year 1910, Detroit produced more cigars than the entire country of Cuba in the month of June. We did more cigars in Detroit in 1 month than Cuba did in a year. And we became known as the best 5-cent cigar city in the world. That is a left-handed compliment. That is, oh honey, your hair looks so nice. Not like last Christmas. Best 5 5-cent cigar. We didn't make the best cigar. We made the best, great value, good product, fair pay item. And that 5-cent cigar let a Ford factory worker, now making $5 a day by 1914, kick his feet up on the back porch of his shared property and smoke a cigar, and for that 30 minutes feel like a Vanderbilt or a Kresge or a Skillman. A 5-cent luxury item marketed directly at the burgeoning middle class, skyrocketed tobacco into the third slot for industry. Now 13 years later, Michigan Central opens. What are the 3 biggest industries in Detroit? Cars. No one wants to take the easy one, but cars. Refrigerated rail cars. The W.A. Hammond refrigerated railroad car, which was invented here in Detroit, allowed basically a big rolling cooler to move produce and meat throughout the nation, which turned Detroit into a major slaughterhouse location because we could transport the meat from here. And 1913, pharmaceuticals are still going strong. In 1960, Park Davis would sell to Pfizer. Pfizer still operates them as a subsidiary today. But it's the way the peninsula wraps around and comes up under Detroit. So technically, as Detroiters, those are our southern neighbors. With hockey and Tim Hortons and a cute prime minister.
Tim Hortons. Man, the Bronco Everglades is so nice. Actually, there's a fully loaded one too, and you get the snorkel as well. Digital gauge. And it's a gorgeous day, so.
It is a gorgeous day, I'll tell you what.
I thought it'd be raining.
It's beautiful.
So
Couple of guys taking a ride.
Heck yeah. Rolling around in a Bronco, new Bronco. Though I wouldn't mind a 70s Bronco.
Yeah, thinking about taking it down the railroad tracks here.
Okay. This poor thing. It's like rotted out with bumpers. So what's your favorite thing about living here?
Mine?
The weather, the building, the history?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things, but mostly it's family. You know, that's what the roots are.
This is so cool. So we got the Model Ts right here, and right behind is the station. It's a legendary shot right there. You'll never see that. So we're gonna go in and get lunch. Big shout out to driver Dave. Dave, you rock.
Lady Bronco enthusiasts kind of get into the sport without being intimidated by a bunch of guys.
I've been racing for 14 years. I have a 2018 Mustang, 2018 Super Duty, 2018 Focus ST. So I like sport through and through, and then my husband has a Coyote Swap 94 Mustang.
So I'm actually involved in a project that is designed for Mustang owners through the Ford programming. So it's really cool, unique. My wife has a Mustang, I have a Mustang, and my whole life.
Dude, and you can buy this from Ford to put in your classic. Put in a 69 Mustang. In case you missed it on the video. And the cool thing about this, it has these roll-up windows. It's so nice. Oh my god, this interior is wild, guys. Check this out. We're in the F-100 Eluminator, which is an EV classic Ford truck. And I'm so excited I can't even get the seatbelt out. There we go. So let's see how this feels. You move the seat from that. The brake pedals is very interesting. That's cool. All right.
Are you ready?
I am ready. Here we go.
Have fun.
Later. You're right about the brake pedal. Holy cow. So I just was able to drive a Mach-E rally, and oh my gosh. Let's turn down here. And this is a little more sensitive, but I'm sorry for the cameraman shaking my. That is so much fun. Oh my gosh. This is so classy too. It's phenomenal being inside a truck, and you can actually get this from Ford as a crate motor. They've done such a good job with it.
My favorite part though too is they kept the roll-up window, the classic old school on this.
They did. Look at this. That is really cool. I just noticed that. I can't believe I get to drive this. That's wild. Oh my god. I just drove the Mach-E Rally, and to drive this thing, it's a totally different experience. Thanks so much, Ford. Appreciate it. The station, it's so cool. It's very windy out here, but we're trying to get in the pits right now. So, but it's absolutely insane seeing the building in person and how much history is here. So, thanks for watching, guys.
Detroit never left. This place helped put the world on wheels. Show the world how to shake. And now, we're gonna show you what's next. Some saw this place as a relic of the past. We saw possibilities. We saw an innovation hub for our community, for our country. We saw what we've always seen. Determination, persistence, reinvention, and above all, So, if you want to see what tomorrow looks like, come to the Motor City and see for yourself.
So happy. You know, our city's been through a lot of tough times, and look at the roll we're on right now. We've had the draft, obviously everything Dan's doing downtown. It's amazing. So, yeah, I just love seeing everybody in our city happy and watching the faces of people as they see this, and I can't wait for you all to get inside and really check it out.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for doing things. Hey guys, before you go, wait a minute. We're gonna take a selfie. Turn this way to the crowd. There it is. Beautiful. Thank you, Joe. Give them a nice round of applause.
Say what? Come on. Yeah. Let them know about the light, Detroit. How much time? Yeah. I never knew a la like this.
Here 6 years ago when we kicked this all off, it kind of seemed like a dream back then.
It did seem like a dream back then. I really feel like the train station has embodied every aspect and every era of Detroit. It's gone through civil rights, bankruptcy. It's kind of like all this pressure has made it into this priceless diamond.
Wait till you see it. I think you're gonna love it.
Wow, man, this just comes so far. Look at this, man. I'm not gonna lie, you know, so this is like a total transformation. I'm kind of like stuck right now.
There were 3,000 people who worked on this. They took such amazing pride in it.
Like, why would you want to restore the actual train station?
First of all, it is a beautiful building.
Yeah, of course.
But I didn't want this just to be a trip down memory lane. I want this to be a magnet for talent. I want the best and the brightest to want to come here and help solve the problems of tomorrow. Next door, we have 100 startups there.
I love that.
It's pretty cool. You grew up in Detroit. The energy here now is so different.
It is. It's not like other cities that go through a gentrification. You're not excluding, you're including. You know what I'm saying?
From day one, I never wanted this to be a corporate takeover of this area. It really is all about bringing the community here. We want to keep it fun so that people are always saying, I wonder what's going on down at Michigan Central.
It's like a hub for the city.
You bet.
I love that, man. What is your goal for the future?
I would love to see this place inspire Detroiters. It'll be the place where we'll help invent our future.
Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate you.
What's cool about the train station is it's been through every era of Detroit, right? So it's been through the riots, it's been through Motown, right? It's been through the automotive industry. It's seen us be bankrupt and be at the very bottom of our city, right? So the fact that it has gone through all of this pressure and now is a diamond, it really is a diamond that came out of the rough. I feel like it's an oasis in the middle of the city, man, and it's a metaphor for us all, man. It's our time right now. Whatever you're going through, you know what I'm saying? Just know that you going through something. You're not giving up in something. You're going through something to get to a higher, better place in your life, man. And if you feel that, make some noise right now. If you feeling blessed to be here, make some noise right now. I want to dedicate this one to my son, man, Owen Desani. And everybody in the city, man, just going through what you're going through, making the best of what you got, you know?
Unfortunately, I had to head out early, headed to Alaska here, so I couldn't show you guys the inside. As you saw in that video earlier, Big Sean was with Bill Ford and they were walking around showing the interior and all the updates. I will be posting more on my Instagram, so if you want to see there about the updates inside the station, I can do that for you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Appreciate you guys and appreciate Friends of Ford.